Hey guys, it's Postbox Pat. Welcome back to a brand new Fortnite Battle Royale news video, keeping you guys up to date with some of the amazing news which has been posted over the last 2 days. The gameplay in the back is me having an absolute fail of a first round with the kind of sharky skin, which I absolutely love. I bought it when it first came out, and it does kind of reference to Season 3, so I'm going to start using it a little bit as we lead up to that. But let's get into the news and show you guys exactly what we have first off, and that is actually this file found in the files from Lucas. He says that there are 3 skins currently in the event pack, and they're most likely rumored to be regarding Midas, Lynx and the Engineer. This potentially could mean that we could get an animation and even talking from these skins during the event, just like we got in the Season 7 event with the Visitor. What? The Visitor? No, with the Ice King. What am I saying? With the Ice King, obviously he was there, and then that was really it for that. There's not been many other events with interactive skins though other than that one, so it's going to be interesting to see this around the Doomsday device when the event does go live. I'm pretty excited for it. I hope you guys are too. Also, here's the brand new item shop. Some of the amazing new Slurp skins are really interesting, and obviously my favorite Guff's back as well, so if you're copying any of this, don't forget to go and use code PostboxPat. Keep much love and respect everybody doing that. Alright, so what other pieces of news do we have? Well, if you guys have seen this or not, it depends if you've been sent it. Apparently there are a few quizzes, or should I say more of a questionnaire, going around Fortnite right now. Now I can't tell 100% if these are real or fake, but the first bit of this asks a bunch of questions about what artists you'd be interested in seeing or what you'd feel about these ones coming into Fortnite. And there's a bunch of big name artists on here, from Drake to Ariana and lots more. You can see it kind of sliding through them here, and this is apparently a questionnaire which people have been receiving. Then obviously we've also got a few details as well regarding different point of views on the actual game itself. So this question here says, is it clear how to get better at Fortnite Battle Royale? And you answer it. Kind of the wording to me doesn't make it feel real, but I'm not too sure, and maybe Epic just put it in more of a basic term. And here are a bunch of questions right here which are really interesting to see where Epic is actually looking and making the game going. So you can see the current matchmaking in solo, duos and squad typically matches with opponents of similar building skill. So it's all about building skill, these questions, which is really interesting, and it goes over similar overall skill. Obviously, do you enjoy the combat in Fortnite? And you answer, I enjoy the combat in Fortnite, and you rate that question. Fortnite Battle Royale is a stable and bug-free experience. The current matchmaking in solos, duos and squads typically matches me with opponents of similar shooting skill. So just general questions. Some of the question words are pretty good, but some of them aren't, so that's what makes you think it might not be real. But you can see Epic are definitely looking at tweaking the building a little bit, and maybe even matching people with different building skills in the same game. So some interesting points right there for you guys. You should definitely consider them, just in case you just don't know what's going to happen with this sort of stuff. So I'm pretty excited to see where things are going to go with these questionnaires. Now the next little piece of news I've got for you guys is regarding the actual live event itself. Now this was something sent to me on Twitter, and you can see there are 3 tips here for the live event. Don't build, don't destroy, be friendly. So that's really nice to see, because obviously this is going to be key for the event. If people are going to start destroying the agency, then it's really going to mess up the event, etc., because that's obviously going to be where the center of the event is. Hopefully they make it invincible, the agency, for the event, or maybe they make it respawn or something. But here are some of the points of interest or point of views where you could actually position yourself to watch the live event. Kind of nice here, you got a few different high points, a few different Reddit options as well. So the pink ones are decent, especially the ones in the south area, and then even the one at the top of Risky could be a good point of view to watch the event. But I think that generally I'm going to be going to that red one in the middle at the top, but I don't know, I'll decide probably at the time and see where players are, and obviously where people are building and where they're not, so that'll make my decision for that, hopefully. The next piece of news I've got for you guys is the current state of the actual Doomsday device. So if we jump into Midas's room, you can see the device is actually now sparking off these kind of like yellow lightning beam type things. I think it's really awesome, and obviously 5 days ish until the live event, so that's really exciting. But you can see obviously these sparks coming off it. I think it's interesting to see this, and obviously this is going to lead to something big during that live event, which is currently on its way. It's not far off at all, so we can expect this very soon. But yes, some really interesting stuff here, right? I generally do think that this is probably I reckon probably actually what the Doomsday device will look like when it appears in game, or will it even appear in game? We are still yet to know. Obviously 5 days to come, we probably would have assumed it would have already appeared on the island by now, but it hasn't. But let's just keep our eyes peeled and obviously be ready for this, just in case it does. I'm going to be ready, and I hope you guys are too. So this next one I've got for you guys is something really interesting. So this is coming in from CZ, I think that's how it said the name. Obviously this is actually regarding the visitor records from Season X, when he says something, when he goes, we can only activate the device from the loop center. And basically what he's saying here is he's found this kind of weird image type thing, which really is interesting because he's referring it back to the loop center being the actual center point on the Chapter 2 island. So what he's saying is we can only activate the device from this point, and this is almost like foreshadowing itself from Season X, and kind of this is the loop. This island itself has connection with the whole previous Fortnite world and even other universes out there which we've not yet been to. So I generally do think that this is something really big and interesting to see how this point in the middle, because it's constantly changed. If you think about it, this is where things have happened. We had obviously the Storm King there, we had a bunch of changes there with the gold and stuff. We've seen a lot of stuff going on in this center point. We had the agency, and I do think there's something special about this point. Definitely some big stuff happening. It's a little bit like Loot Lake, you know, that was a really key location for the storyline. It's where it ended, and it's kind of where it started, kind of, not 100%. Obviously it's where the rocket kind of took off kind of from, a little bit to the side, but obviously when it came down it did almost crash into Tilly. But Loot Lake's kind of where it's all started from. I don't know, that's my opinion. I said kind of way too many times there, but oh well. But yeah, that's what I think of this. It's kind of interesting, definitely something we should all look at and consider. He kind of highlights the dam on it as well and a bit of the location around the map, so some interesting points. I don't really understand what it's trying to say, but it's a file from the game. Maybe it could be something to do with the event. Maybe you'll see it appear on the map after the event to hint maybe towards Season 3 or even the future of Chapter 2. So some interesting stuff right there. Now this is also named in the file's visitor center info, which is interesting as well, because obviously the center info with the name visitor in the front of it kind of hints towards definitely the visitor himself back from Chapter 1. And we also saw in Chapter 2 the visitor was also leaked in the trailer for the Season 2 trailer, as we know on the tree. I'm not going to put gameplay of that. You guys have seen that so many times. Those that follow my channel, you guys probably know that already. So the last piece of information I've got for you guys is an interesting one as well, coming from Mango, and this is actually kind of him talking about the energy core. So he believes that the energy core is actually going to dye itself blue. Now this is actually a concept on the right hand side of this tweet, but definitely is a big consideration to make, because if the orb does dye itself blue, then why is it that firing the lightning in yellow right now? I don't know. Or the Doomsday device, should I say. Definitely some interesting stuff around the device. I just don't know how this is going to transition into the event. I really want to know now, and I think we may see a kind of like a smaller update, maybe even a 12.62 update being added into the game to actually put this file or these extra files to actually allow the Doomsday device to appear in Fortnite Battle Royale for us to physically see. I think that would be really cool if Epic went and did that, and I do hope they do something similar to that. You know, with the device firing all this yellow stuff off, it's going to be really interesting to see it get placed in game. So yeah, that was pretty cool information. Also, for those wondering, this is kind of like a side piece of news, like a bonus piece for you guys. I was actually featured in Ali A's most recent video on his second channel, which was really cool. Obviously it's really cool to get featured in someone that I used to watch when I was a lot younger on the Call of Duty side of stuff, so it's kind of interesting to see. If you haven't checked it out, just go and watch like the first couple of seconds of it and you'll see that I'm in it. It's kind of cool, and thank you Ali as well for putting me in there and giving me a shout out on that. And he will be doing a video on his new, or should I say his current channel, the main channel as well, using some of my footage as well, so that's really nice of him. Obviously he did ask to get the footage and everything worked out pretty well. For those wondering about that, I know a few people have been asking questions about how has Ali got all of your event footage. It's because he actually contacted me and I allowed him to do it. So yeah, that's just for those wondering a bit more details behind that. Obviously I try and tell you guys everything that's currently going on in the Fortnite world, and obviously anything related to my channel, I try and keep you guys up to date with everything. As you guys know, I produce legit and reliable source on the Fortnite Battle Royale universe. Other than that, Fortnite haven't yet tweeted anything out brand new. Donald Mustard also still has his location over at the agency as well, so nothing really coming in from that side of stuff. Obviously there is a big lead up though to the future of Fortnite, because this is it, guys. After this week, technically we're going to be heading into Season 3, and it's going to be absolutely mega. The whole new season, rumored to be underwater themed, not 100% confirmed, but that is leading up to that. I'm also considering covering a little bit of the pro scene on the channel. There's a lot of YouTubers that cover pro content, and it does way better than just normal Fortnite news content. So I am considering adding in a little bit of pro content to the channel if you guys would like to see it. it's not something that I 100% want to add just straight away. I've got to kind of like slowly get into it because I don't know the pro scene off by heart, but it is definitely interesting and it is stuff that I do watch from time to time. Not every day though. Personally, I do prefer just to kind of cover the normal Fortnite news, but when there are big pro announcements and conflict in the community over different changes, etc., I think it is worth covering, but I do think it gets twisted the wrong way. You've got to consider that the pro community is only a small number of players. The majority of players are just casual players like me and you. This is the thing with the pro community, and then the creators that cover the pro community do put a toxic light sometimes on this sort of stuff. Not always, but it can do that. So I do generally think if I do cover the pro scene, it'll be from a casual standpoint every single time, because if we do go into details from the pro standpoint, then we suddenly turn into some sort of pro channel, which we don't want to do, because we're a casual community here. We obviously play Fortnite casually, most of us anyway. There might be a few pros watching from time to time, but the majority of my fans are all casual players, and that's what I really love about you guys. You don't try hard to 100%. A lot of you are pretty good though. I have played with a lot of you who are almost at pro level, and I think there are a few pros as well. So no offense to the pro players out there, you guys absolutely sweat and are really good at the game, and fair enough, you guys enter into tournaments and that's much appreciated and I respect that. But obviously I like to cover stuff from a casual standpoint, because that's when I first got into Fortnite. It was still casual, there was no pro scene. It's just taken off. And should Fortnite have a pro scene? Again, that's debatable. People have talked about in the past that it shouldn't, but I do think it should. But I just think it definitely needs being more separate from the casual gamers, and that's the current situation we're in with Fortnite. A lot of the casual players aren't getting what they want from the casual game. But anyway, that's it for today's video. I do hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a comment down below on what you think of the entire video. Don't forget to support me if you haven't already and use code POSTBOXPAT in the item shop. Thank you everyone for smashing subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the other videos on screen right now.